I got nothing.
TJ, to have game day here, is that a pretty cool thing you think for this program?
Yeah, I think it's a credit to the young men in our program. It's credit to those that have come before. I think to get the national, validation to have game day come. A lot of respect for everybody in that show, and it's neat for our fans. It's great for our students. There's a lot of great things happening at Iowa State. We're proud of what's happening in our program, our department, our campus, our university, the leaders we have here, and so to be able to showcase that on the national stage is really cool.
Admittedly, it's my first year here, but have you felt more people lining up in tents, more people in the student section? How have you felt this fan support maybe even take it up a notch?
Yeah, I think our students have been great. Our fans have been great. I mean, our crowds at home, the energy they've had has been terrific. I don't know that I can go and compare this year to last year or 2 years ago. I think we're always fortunate to have great fans. I know that we've also been in a situation where, things haven't gone our way lately. And what we've come to count on is our fan base really showing up for us and our guys stepping up. And that passion, that enthusiasm, that energy elevating one another. So excited for the environment on Saturday.
I think it's been pretty clear how you can trace a lot of the offensive issues back to Milan being out. How much does that not matter, though, especially Saturday when he's not going to play?
Yeah, I mean, right now, Milan returned to practice today. He was out there and doing things. So again, it'll be day to day. Whenever he's able to return, when it's in his best interest, is when he'll return. In terms of us offensively, I think the correlation between our offense being effective and our defense being effective is important. I know everybody, immediately just looks at Ken Palm and says, well, the defense is still good. That means the offense. To me, when our defense is turning the other team over and when we're getting live ball turnovers, we're great in transition. When our guards are doing a great job rebounding down and finishing plays on the glass, that gives us transition. The transition points have made us a really good offensive team, or at one point when we were an elite offensive team. The other part of offense that sometimes gets left out is the offensive rebounding and converting those to points. And that's something that we have to be very intentional. So there's certainly the half-court offensive, being able to run half-court offense 5-on-5, which is important, and something where we have to do a better job creating advantage, moving the basketball, taking great shots, having great shot selection. All those things play into it. But as much as obviously Milan has a tremendous value to our team, I think it's important that our guys understand that even though our team changed a little bit at that time, we've still had some really good moments, and we've still done some really good things offensively. It just hasn't been consistent over all of the games. Some of the games, our offensive disappointment has led us to kind of being consumed with it, and it hasn't been those games. It hasn't been the way we wanted.
Is Milan a potential for Saturday, or are you still looking?
Yeah, I hate to create an expectation or any additional pressure. When we started on the 4 to 6 weeks, we kind of targeted Cincinnati as hopefully the bookend to when he would return. I haven't had a chance to visit with him even in the times he was in practice today to say, how did you feel mentally? How did things go for you? But I don't want him to feel rushed in any way, shape, or form. I know that we can all watch and say, hey, having him back will give us enthusiasm and energy and his ability to shoot and score the basketball. But that's a personal choice, and that's on his timeline, and I support him in how he goes about making those choices.
The defense, is there a reason why it's not doing, I guess, what you would want it to do? You would think, even though Milan, that means, more Nate or more Demarion, that might give you a little more versatility or speed and athleticism on it.
Yeah, I would say, they go hand in hand, right? And so for us defensively, it's really hard to play heavy minutes and pressure the ball the way we want and have the effort and multiple efforts we want. So over the last, 6, 7 games, some guys, there's minutes have gone from 30 to 35, 36, 37. That probably makes it more of a challenge to pressure the ball, multiple efforts, fly around, and give the effort we need offensively. So to me, it's getting that back in order, most definitely. And then not feeling like there's certain guys, we have certain guys sometimes you feel like, well, this guy's better on offense and this guy's better on defense. And I think That's not acceptable. We have too many really good players that need to play well on both sides of the basketball. I need to demand that they play both sides of the basketball. So regardless of, Milan and his situation and what minutes Heisey and D-Watt have played, I think that defensively, everybody's got to be locked in, guard the ball, finish the plays on the glass. I think that has been a greater issue, finishing plays on the glass and the second chance points we gave up last weekend. And some of the times where we're getting physically, teams are getting not only downhill with the drive, but then we're getting rotation on the rebound, and we're not doing a great job finishing.
TJ, it seems like your guards are obviously on top of opposing teams' scouting reports, but I'm just curious, for the other guys, like, have they shown in practice that they can pack an offensive punch and it just hasn't been translating on game day? And how do you just kind of foster that confidence to have them shoot or just, make a play?
Well, I think with our front court players, first of all, the games where we've been more physical, where Deshaun, J. Jeff, and Brant have been more physical, the scoring has taken care of itself in those games. So it's important that, because if we're physical sealing, if we're physical finishing, if we're physical screening and getting off the roll, if we're physical on the offensive boards, we get more points and more opportunities on the front line, which helps us. When we go to our bench, specifically with Heisey and D-Watt, it's important, again, for them, bringing value defensively, pressuring the ball, rebounding the ball, so we get more opportunity in transition, and then we get more opportunity in second chance. And then those guys being ready to knock down the shots when they present themselves. So I think it all has to go together, for everything. When we had it working really well a few weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, when things were rolling for us, all of those things were going well. So it's not one thing or one person or one dynamic. It's making sure everything is in alignment so that it can flow the way that it once was.
TJ, just how tough is it to win games in the Big 12 Conference?
Yeah, no, again, I know the SEC has had a great year in the non-league, and we've talked about the Big 12 being the best league. I think the physicality in the Big 12 on the glass and defensively stands out. So part of, even when you play good teams outside the league or great teams outside the league, I still think there's a defensive intent and a physicality that teams play within this league that all of a sudden teams get into league play, even when they play great teams outside the league, and those scoring numbers go down. And it becomes tougher to get to the rim because of the defensive versatility, the length at the rim protection. So that is also a factor. But of course, winning games is challenging in every conference. Winning games in the Big 12, when you get to late January and February, especially where everybody's tired, everybody's sore, everybody's banged up, everybody's mentally challenged, all those things are going on. That's where you've got to double down on your habits, your resiliency, and the things that you do and the things that make you win, and then that puts you in the best position. But it's, winning this league is hard. I know that. I had many years as an assistant, now 4 as a head coach.
And then what about TCU is challenging for you guys, or what do you have to be prepared for them?
Yeah, obviously they got a big win last night, at home over a really good West Virginia team. I think they're a team that has, again, with their guards, with Reynolds and Alette, they're guys that can really get it going. They're good in transition. They're good in space, making plays. So I think, they have a very strong presence and impact on their team and what they're able to do offensively. They've got other experienced players on the front line. Trezarian White, Ernest Uday's he's a physical force in the paint on the offensive glass. So I think it really is going to come down to our guards doing a great job guarding the basketball and keeping the ball out of the paint, keeping their guards out of transition and out of the paint. It's going to come down to our front court establishing the physicality on the interior, and then as a team finishing plays on the glass. We do that, focus on our identity, then offense will come forward for us.
After the Kansas game, you told us you liked the team's mentality, like immediately, right after that game. What were the things that you saw that made you think, hey, this is going to be okay? Yeah,
not that I'm a body language expert, but I think the eye contact, how the guys looked in the locker room. There's sometimes when you're not to be successful where guys look like they're down, they're deflated, they're disappointed in themselves, they feel like they let their teammates down, that sort of thing. That wasn't the case, even though we were highly disappointed on Monday. It was more of a look in the eyes of, okay, we're ready to change this. It's time to change this. It's time to, to lean into the habits, the daily habits, and to really have that at the forefront. Because I think when things go well, you can get a little bit distracted, you know, like scoring the ball for certain individuals can be intoxicating, getting attention of how great you are, how great you're playing, pressure of here's where you're ranked, here's the home win streak. All those things are external distractors, and to say that they don't impact in some way, you know, would be disingenuous. Now, all that's kind of behind us, all that's kind of to the side, move it out of the way. Let's focus on being the best version of the team we can be. And as much as we respect all our opponents, and as much as we know it's hard to win in the Big 12, if we're the best version of the team we can be, guard the ball, rebound the ball, and share the ball, things will go our way a lot more often than not, and that's where we have to aim our attention.
How much do you not take that for granted? I mean, obviously you want that from your guys, but they haven't had a losing streak as a group last year or this year. You know,
Yeah.
They have in other places, but.
No, and I think adversity, you know, hits at different times for every team every year, right? And even last year, our adversity was really Hassan Ward going down and then going to Florida, and we almost dumped 3 in a row. You know, it took a heroic finish by our guys and Taman making, you know, big floater late to take the lead to beat VCU, and then we dumped back-to-back games of Virginia Tech and Texas A&M, and we weren't in a great place at that point. We had to kind of fight our way through it, but it happened early, and to your point, so we never lost back-to-back games in the Big 12. The other years, we certainly had those type of things happen, and we found a way to move forward through them and be better in the end. And so I think there's a lot of confidence in our locker room from our guys of we've been in a place, even though these guys haven't, right, together, as a program, we've been in that place. And so there's a trust they can put into the program, the coaches. These guys know what it takes at this point. Let's lock in and keep our focus on those areas. And that's how we power through and change, you know, the course of action, the way things are going for us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, TJ.